So, what a peculiar week. What a peculiar day. One of the things that we're talking about this morning, as you can tell, is surrendering to what is, allowing what is and what is happening, like not getting the sun, all that's happening, to just allow things to be the way they are. Now, this sounds super easy on the surface, and many of us think we do this all the time. And it's usually when things are going the way we've planned, and then we think we're surrendered. Isn't this nice? We have this sort of flow feeling in our life, and everything's just kind of easing us down the road, and things are coming into place nicely, and we're on time. And the most excruciating part of this surrender into this moment is when it's doing its own thing and literally trying to change your direction while you are walking. How many of us have had that experience? You're literally going in one direction and everything is doing this. Please come back, right? So this morning, I just thought it was a regular Sunday. I did not know the trickster is going to inhabit my life this morning. So I woke up thinking I would wear church clothes to church this morning. And I had given myself a very strong desire, intention to surrender, to have some real experience of surrendering. Well, of course it would show up on Sunday morning because then I'm visible. It's, my other days of my life, I could be invisible if I was wearing Pippi Longstocking braids or doing something else. But today I'm visible. So I started playing with this and I started realizing all the rules that I had lined up in my life, all the rules for how things should go, including my microphone, all the rules for the way that my morning's going to go, the way that my shower is going to go, what I'm going to wear. Just close your eyes for 1 second and consider all the rules that are in place this morning for you to get here. All the rules about the way your car should work and the way the weather should be and how the timing should work out. Did anyone have an experience where none of those things worked the way you expected? Or how about even just one or two of those things didn't work the way you expected, right? So what we can do in those circumstances is we have two choices, right? One of them is we can freak out, and we do sometimes because we're really attached to the way we want it to go. Or the other thing we can do is to gently let ourselves kind of settle into like, what's coming, right? So what was coming this morning was this silliness about this conversation about wearing these clothes. And one of the funniest things about the pants that I'm wearing that you can't see, but you will eventually maybe be able to see at the bottom, they say, love me. They say, love me, which has always been peculiar to me. When I bought them from a catalog and I thought they just said love. And then they said, love me. And I don't want to wear them when they say love me, because that exposes the fact that I think I need to be loved. And that makes me vulnerable, right? One of my rules is to be safe. Yesterday, I had a really peculiar experience that I suddenly stopped feeling safe. And I didn't like that feeling. And one of my rules is I want to feel safe. But is that always possible? Is that always possible? Is my physical body always feel safe? Maybe not. Is my microphone going to cooperate or not? Maybe not. It's all about what is going to happen in this moment. What I found inside this conversation with myself was so many rules. How many rules do we have around our spirituality, our life, the way things should be, how they should go, which keeps us from actually experiencing in the present moment some delight, some excitement, some fear. I'm walking into church this morning wearing a love t-shirt with the pants that say love me. What's going to happen? I could feel it in my body. Like, can you imagine if you were wearing this morning? How would you feel standing up here, right? A little exposed, right? It's a little exposing because that's what life is supposed to be. It's supposed to be exposing. It's supposed to be opening us to the next opportunity to be alive. Not the next opportunity to be humming along in some random expectation of life just continuing the way we want it to be. In some ways, privilege, and all of us have our own kind of privilege, is what we get to pack around us to keep us safe. Our homes, our families, the people we know do love us, the way we live, our cars, whatever it is. We take our privilege and pack it around us to keep ourselves safe. When I-95 broke a couple of weeks ago, which was a strange experience, everything changed and cars were going in every direction. We happened to be driving where we would have normally used that. So the GPS was sending us through city streets that we have never seen. And all of a sudden, the question arises, June and I were talking about that, do you lock your doors right now? Are you likely to have an interaction with life that you're not expecting? Do you just notice the rising sensation of fear in your body? Do you question it? Do you think you have a right to always feel safe? These are big questions about our spirituality and religion. We have so many rules in religion, right? How should it happen? And one of the reasons that I think that Spirit arranged to have Nathan with us today is because this conversation is frightening and Nathan is softening. He's opening us gently so we can talk about something that's kind of frightening. Now, when you look at me, you're not like super scared by my clothes, right? Nobody here is having like a major reaction to what I'm wearing. Okay, good, check, check. But what I am trying to say is I'm having a major reaction to what I'm wearing, which is making me laugh. And it's bringing aliveness into my body. You should have seen how many times I walked around my house going, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, right? Because this is not part of the rules. I'm supposed to be dressed in those clothes you usually see me in. And I flowy once. I seriously went to my closet and I stood there and I'm like, please, please let me wear this. Nope, nope, nope. Don't be a chicken is what I heard. Don't be a chicken. Don't be a chicken. There are no rules that you have to follow. You are free. We are free. Okay, so obviously Spirit wants us to talk about this, right? This intelligence of the universe wants us to talk about freedom. At what cost do you call yourself free? What are the rules? What are the walls, right? You guys know I've told you a number of times, I lived behind walls. I lived with machine guns. I lived with guards. I lived with Marines who were there to keep me safe. I guarantee you that did not happen. These things are not possible. We cannot guarantee our safety. We can, however, do our best to come into alignment. Perfect protection is perfect vulnerability. The more we come into alignment with who we are and the fullness and the wholeness that we are in this together, the more we will actually hear the warning from within. Go gently. Don't go. Stay home. Turn. Many of us this week were touched by the journey to the Titanic and the loss of life in that journey. Many, many of us had moments of imagining people on board losing oxygen and knowing that that was the end. And how do you anticipate that? How do you live in those moments? What are the rules? Well, okay, breathe and get present is probably a good idea, but your body is doing many, many, many other things besides breathing and getting present, because you have a system that says, I'm going to die and I'm going to do everything I can not to do that. People will do anything to save themselves. And that isn't because we're bad. It's because we are programmed that way. We are for one when push comes to shove. And that is the species attainment of whoever is the strongest and the smartest and whatever will survive. But as we sat with that this week, I digress, as we sat with that this week, we all had to feel a lot of feelings. We had experienced a lot of things. If we were present at all to ourselves, we were wondering what that was like. And then we found out, it seems that the whole thing quickly exploded. And so it was an instant experience for them, is at least what we think at this point, but we don't know. We have expectations about what happens in every single moment of our lives, and it shuts us down to what is actually happening now. So when we open those apertures and we listen, let's contrast this story with one I heard yesterday, which was a young man and his father who were going to get on board. And he listened, and he was nope. He had a big no to this. He said, I don't see it. I don't think it's safe enough. I'm not going. He talked his father out of going, and they stayed home. And unfortunately, other people took their place. Or we call it, unfortunately, what do we know? Their path is unfolding the way their path is unfolding. And we do hold those families and all of those peoples in great love for the loss that they're experiencing. It was a catastrophic loss for many. And we just allow that loss to be with us. We are one with everyone going through this experience. We allow it to touch us. We are alive to it. We do not just read it and move on. This is being present. This is letting the rules. This is telling ourselves we don't know what happened and we can't have an opinion about it. But we can have feeling. We can have feeling. Feeling, the feeling tone, not so much the emotion. The feeling tone of life is the one that we are going for, that keeps us alive, that allows us to feel this intensity, the intensity of a moment, and breathe through it and come back the next moment and be alive again and again and again and again. And we are changed every single time we step. Every breath changes us. It cleanses us. It gives back to the plant kingdom. Every breath gives oxygen. It changes our brain. If we breathe slow and tight, we have one reality. If we breathe full and open, we have another. We are in charge of our experience of presence. And when we use rules to block ourselves from each other, from experience, from all that's happening, we lose, we become numb, we feel lonely. We miss out on life. We miss things. If we allow ourselves to walk, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. I, my breath, my holiness, my oneness, my connection to the entire universe is with me. I don't need it to be inside of a religion for it to be with me. Words feel true, do they not? And they rest inside us when they feel true. They nestle inside us when they feel true. So this week also was the anniversary of the passing of my sister. And what this whole thing is about for me is noticing the momentary moments of being alive. Notice what comes in, notice what goes out. Notice the fullness of your experience. every single moment. We let days go by and we turn the calendar as if nothing has happened. So this morning, there was sort of a thing about flowers and what was going to happen and whatever going on in the background. And I was on my way and I decided to stop and get flowers. I decided right now. I was still operating with the trickster, sending me to get flowers. I went, I'm following, and this is what appeared. So I want you to know what's special about this is that it is the anniversary of my sister's passing. And on her memorial service, which was the anniversary of that was yesterday, on her memorial service, on the altar, my mother had put these flowers. In the Episcopalian Church, in a very sedate and lovely way, they were all blue and they were beautiful. And they represented what my mom needed for them to be that day. This morning, someone else had a different idea. My sister is a deadhead. Whose flowers are these? Right? She just came right alongside me as I walked through ShopRite, and she was like, right here, go here. These are mine. And I looked at them and I'm like, yeah, no. And I'm like, of course, this is love. This is me listening. This is the fun of being alive and laughing with my sister because she got finally on an altar flowers she can relate to. So, that's being alive. Like, it makes you burst out laughing in the middle of a ShopRite where everybody else is a little bit serious about getting their groceries this morning. Right? And then nobody knows what you're laughing about. And they think you're cuckoo, but you're alive. You're alive. Like, let the rules of your behavior go. I literally put this on because I really couldn't stand being only in this. I'm not sure that this is what Spirit had in mind, but I just took back the power and put my robe on because I really couldn't do one more thing. And then I'm walking through the bathroom and I'm like, oh, you don't have your earrings on. Well, the only ones sitting there are this gift that I was given by Wayne's mom. And they're these beautiful diamond earrings. And I'm like, with this stuff? Yes. And then my mom's pearls jump off, it's like, with this stuff? Yes. Break the rules. Break the rules. There are no rules. There are no rules. The only thing that is truth is what you feel. There is a sign on, well, it's in a box, but it used to be in my refrigerator that says from the Buddha, do not believe anything I say until you check it out within your truth. You are the harmonizing. You are the tuning fork because you are one. And when we're slightly off, the tuning fork does not sound like it matches us. And we can tell, and we're having like, And when we're fighting being the tuning fork, and when the message is trying to come through to us and it's trying to lighten up, and we're trying to just have a fun day because it's summer, let's be silly. Let's talk about love. Let's talk how it permeates everything. Let's talk about how you're not in charge. Let's talk about how much fun it is not to be in charge all the time. Don't you get tired of being in charge? Don't you get tired of all the rules? One time I was talking about something like this, and a woman approached me after the talk, and her teenage daughter was with her, and she said, thanks. That's all she had to say, right? I'm sorry about that, Alex. Yeah, there are no rules. And parents get to give you very strong guidelines, because until we have the harmonizing set up within us, until we've done the work to hear the truth, we can be a danger to ourselves and to others. When we lose our way, probably the one end of the spectrum is that we can hurt ourselves by stealing our very own life from ourselves. And the other end is we can hurt someone else by stealing their life from them. But we're all one, so it doesn't actually matter which one you choose. if we can find our way on this path, if we can make this journey of discovery, this every single step you put down, a journey of finding what's new. Byron Katie jokes around. She was doing this on Valentine's Day. She was saying, who is my favorite Stephen, who is her husband? Who is my favorite? I think it was the guy who was last night at 7:08 when he made me dinner. But, this morning he was kind of cute. Last Tuesday and she just plays with this because it's to wake us up to the idea that nothing is actually held in space and time. Your cells are regenerating constantly. You are not who you were when you sat down. I am definitely not who I was when I woke up this morning, because this would never have happened. Love me, love you, love all. Let's take this to the place where Spirit is inviting a lightening up of our energy. There's been so much. We are working so hard to be good and kind and loving. Can we be funny and silly and sort of off also? Should I wear my hair up? Should I wear my hair down? Should I wash it tonight? Should I do it tomorrow? Should I wear it curly? Should I wear it straight? Rules, 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 rules. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted by the rules. Yeah, who else? Who else feels exhausted by the rules? Let's give it. God bless you. Thank you. Yes. Ready? Just like, all right, let's do this. Let's try this. Let's try this. Everybody who thinks they could possibly maybe be exhausted by the rules that they have to follow, put your hands in the air. Wait, put your hands in the air. No, put them down. Sorry. And go like this. Ah, ah, ah. If you have clothing you want to take off, you can. We won't stop you, but I'm not telling you what to do. I am not giving you any more rules. Okay. There's some pretty good guidelines out there that you might want to consider if you're, moving around wanting to approach your life in a way where you can be present. You may actually want to just take a deep breath now and then. How's that feel? Throwing your arms up, taking deep breaths. You know how funny you're going to look when you walk down the street doing this? Ha, ha, ha. You know what's going to make people do? Laugh. They're going to laugh. And that's good for them. So even if they're laughing at you, whatever, it's good for them. Sacrifice yourself a little bit, right? Laugh. Breathe. Just go like this. Everybody stand up and act like you don't have any bones in your body, right? Reverend Paul, that's you too. Okay, come on. You know how this is. You can be as silly as you want to be, right? Just let it all go. Let it all hang out. Okay, because we can get really serious about this stuff. And what we should do. Nobody has to do anything they don't want to do. If you don't want to stand up, don't stand up. If you do, stand up. Don't pressure each other. Don't push each other. But if you're having that, like, maybe I want to stand up, then just try it. Feel your body now. Feel your body. Whatever you chose, feel your body. Feel the aliveness. This is love operating through you. This is love moving through you. This is life moving as you. This is the blessing. Okay, hug each other, right? Right? Okay, tough. You're going to have to hug each other. We're hugging you, Nathan, and we're hugging all of you on Zoom. We're blessing you. Get us moving. There you go. I'm not wearing these sneakers for nothing. Right? Let it all go. I once was accused of having a serious issue with seriosity. I was taking myself very, very seriously. We don't have to. Life can be joy. You do have to stop talking, though. It's my turn. Actually, you don't have to, but I would like you to, if you would, please. That would help. Okay. And we noticed the rebel. So in Wayne's reading this morning, the resistance, right? I had such resistance this morning, as you might imagine. But I also had one of the easiest, most fluid, most grateful, most light pre-church mornings I've ever had, ever, in 23 years of my ministry. And I feel like crying. I don't know why. Maybe because my sister, who is here, my twin, who passed 23 years ago, and is the reason for my ministry. She is the trickster. She was the less serious of us. Maybe because she's here and I can feel her. She's lovely. And I will tell you, you don't have to worry that there were two of me. There were not. She was very different. She was way nicer and funnier and lighter. And she taught me a lot about love. And she taught me not to try to make other people live the way you think they should live. Not to judge people on a healing path because they're not doing it the way you think they should. She taught me that the only thing that was acceptable was to love. And I learned that a really hard way. And this too is being alive. And this too shall pass. And breathe. And love. And I bless you, knowing that there are really two very strong guidelines that will help us on our path. And the one is love God, however you define it, with all your heart, as you are one with it. Love God. God is love. With all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, through what you fill yourself up with. Yes, you want love, and yes, you give love, and yes, you receive love. And the other is love everyone as you, because you are one. In this place, we know there is no separation between loving me and loving you, accepting me and accepting you, loving God and loving all of it. We make it different rules so that we can try to understand. But honestly, it's just one thing. It's love. And so right now, in this moment, I just invite you to surround anything that you have any judgment about. It's probably none of your business, but surround it with an acceptance from your heart that says, I accept, I appreciate, and I love you, no matter what. And if you can't, then know that we are holding in this space because we know the truth that that is possible and will be possible and will heal and will guide and will love you. And so as the leader of this congregation, as your minister, I will say to you, I promise that I will always do my best to follow the guidance, to listen with my whole heart, to answer to that authority that is one with all of us and that we can hear together for guidance, for care, and for love of this community. Today feels like we're at home together, and we are, as one, with all who are here and not here, with all the rest of the world, with all the communities and kingdoms of animals, birds, and fish, with water, with sky, with fire. We are one with the highest highs, jumping off our personal mountains, heading off into our personal fears, loving our personal selves, and all the while caring with great love for each other. There is no more for us to do. There are no more rules to follow. Simply allow the guidance of the truth of your heart to call you to action. Bless you and your life in this moment, in this moment, in this moment, now, and watch the magnificence of all brightly colored flowers come into the awareness as you see the holiness, the wholeness, and the beauty of all that is in divine harmony, divine love, and divine care. We are one, and then we are free. And so it is. Amen.